Hello and welcome to this video course on ranking your YouTube channel higher. All right, so this is video number 1, and this is going to be the introduction to the YouTube video traffic course. Now, before we talk about the course, I want to make sure that you're in the right mindset. So I want to say that the goal here is to focus on building a brand. If you can start thinking that way, you're going to have a long-term strategy which will actually help you not only in the YouTube traffic and getting ranked on YouTube and getting natural organic traffic and all of that, but it'll also help you in many other ways as well. Now, while that may not make a lot of sense right now, it will in just a second. Now, this is not about throwing hundreds or even thousands of backlinks at your YouTube channel properties or videos. What you really want to do here is to focus on quality and not quantity here. And by doing that, it will actually help you in the long run, as you'll just see in just a minute. So before we get started and talk about the course, what I want to do now is give you a quick overview of what's inside this video course. Video number 1 is the introduction, of course. Video number 2 is what this is not about. And I want to make sure that I cover this because a lot of times when we talk about ranking on YouTube or Google or getting traffic or of any sort, there's a lot of assumptions that are made. So I want to make sure that we cover those assumptions and possibly roadblocks that are blocking your way. Video number 3, we'll talk about what Google wants and the strategy. If you understand what Google wants, then it'll make more sense on what the strategy is all about and how to implement it correctly. Video number 4, we'll talk about the ring, which is the strategy here. And of course, video number 5, we'll talk about how to automate the ring. Video number 6, we'll talk about account creation. And video number 7, we'll talk about how to outsource the account creation and the very tedious process of building the ring. And of course, video number 8, we'll talk about testing this out. And while that might seem a little bit simple, it really is and does take some time to make sure that everything works. So with that said, let's talk about getting started and what you're going to need. You're obviously going to need a product or service to sell. You're going to need to have a YouTube channel. You're going to definitely need to have money to outsource. If you do it yourself, it's going to take about a week or sometimes 2 weeks. But once it's set up and is good to go, then everything is automated. But at the end of the day, your time is valuable, so I recommend just outsourcing this process. But knowing how everything works and all of that will allow you to teach whoever you outsource this to, or you can pick and choose people that we will recommend that we have used personally to set things up for you as well. So with that said, let's move on to video number 2. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2, and we're going to talk about what this is not. One of the biggest mistakes that we see a lot of people make is they assume that they know certain things, they know the strategy, they bring in what they already know and what they've seen work, and automatically assume that that is what the strategy is about. But by doing that, what ends up happening is we see that people set themselves up for failure. And we don't want that for you. We want you to be able to succeed as much as possible. So that's why I'm covering what this is not. All right. So to ensure that you're able to successfully implement this strategy, we want to discuss things that you do not want to do. So as I mentioned earlier in the previous video, this is not about throwing hundreds or even thousands of backlinks at your YouTube channel or at your properties. In fact, YouTube has become very, very smart in figuring out if you are actually gaming the system. So what we're trying to do here is think of a strategy that works long term. So you want to focus on quality and not quantity here. It's better to get a few backlinks that are of quality rather than getting thousands of backlinks that don't even relate to your content. And we're not talking about automated softwares either. So like I said, Google's very smart in figuring out how to detect fake backlinks or computer-generated backlinks. They're able to detect patterns. So what you're trying to do here is not follow any sort of pattern whatsoever. You want to make sure that it looks natural as possible, because otherwise Google will penalize you in the future. May not be this month, may not be this next year. It may be the 2 years later kind of thing, or it might be even this month. So what you really want to do is focus on a long-term strategy that is going to last. Now, obviously, we're not going to know exactly if the strategy is going to last or not, but part of the strategy is figuring out what Google wants and fulfilling that. Now, one secret to knowing whether a strategy will last or not is to ask yourself these questions. So this strategy, along with other strategies, you should ask this question over and over. Is this a shortcut? And does this seem spammy? And best of all, will this upset your visitors? So the people that are coming to your YouTube channel via google.com or any other site, is this going to upset them? Because if it does, then guess what? Google is not going to like what you're doing, because they care more about the people that go to Google or go to YouTube and type in a keyword. They care more about them because they are who they are catering to, essentially. So now that that is out of the way, let's discuss what Google wants, which is really the crucial step in understanding why the strategy will work. So now that you have an idea, don't upset the visitors. If it's spammy, if it's a shortcut, this is going to upset them, right? So what is it that Google wants in relation to this? Well, we'll talk about that in the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 3, and this is all about what Google wants and the strategy. Now, we don't know exactly whether this is true or not, but based on the data that we have seen and based on the data that not only has worked for us, but for many others, is that Google likes brands. Now, it's not necessarily that they are particularly liking brands because brands make a lot of money or anything like that, but what we've realized are certain variables that make a brand stand out. So they don't exactly go out and tell people that they like brands, but based on the data that we've seen, we have seen brands rank better. So why is that? Why is it that Google seems to rank brands better? It's because brands last long term, and they oftentimes provide value. Remember, going back to what makes the visitors happy, it's the value that they are offering, right? At least the majority. So you'll notice that brands tend to have a really good following of fans that love their content. So why is that important? Well, their concern isn't really necessarily the brand, but giving people that are searching certain keywords on Google or YouTube, giving them what they want. Now, you'll notice that brands attract a consistent following as well. So Google likes it when they find that there's not only a good following, but a good engaging and good interaction. So their fans click and engage with their content more. And YouTube likes that. They love engagement. If you take a look at videos that rank really well, you'll notice commonality. And you'll notice that they have a lot of likes, they have a lot of comments. Essentially, they have engagement. And engagement is essentially the currency of YouTube. So whether somebody gets a bad comment or a good comment, a comment is a comment. A comment essentially, if you think about it, is worth about $1. Now, we're just saying that because it's like currency, engagement. Now, this means there is a higher CTR, or in other words, click-through rate. So if you have fans that really love a specific brand, they're most likely going to come back over and over again, right? So higher engagement is what Google likes to see. Higher engagement means that the fans really like the content. So this is based on the data that we have received and based on the data that we have observed. So the strategy here is to make sure that you look like a brand and you do backlinking like a brand. Make sense? So what does backlinking like a brand look like? Well, if you think about the visitors that are coming to that brand, they are looking at it, they're engaging with it, they're sharing it with their friends. Now, like I said earlier, there's no exact this is the way it is, but based on the data that we have gathered over the years and what we see what works and what hasn't, we can safely say that looking like a brand will be better for your YouTube channel. And of course, gathering a fan base and a good following that is interacting with your content is also key. Now, if you look at brands, they have many social properties besides YouTube channels. They've got Facebook.com, they have Twitter, they have Snapchat, and more. So it only makes sense for your brand to have the same properties in your brand name and interlinking to each other, right? So let's say, for example, that you upload a video to YouTube. Then it's going to make sense for you to post that same YouTube video or share it via Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and more. So essentially, we're interlinking them together. And that kind of brings us to this strategy, which is the ring. You're basically interlinking everything together. So like I said, for example, you post a video on YouTube, it needs to be pushed to Twitter, your Facebook fan page, and other social properties. And fortunately, because everything is going to be automated, once you do that, it will trigger and it will automate the whole process. So it makes sense because your fans will be located at these different social properties. So some people will be at Facebook, some people will prefer Twitter, and some people will prefer maybe Snapchat or Instagram and other social properties. But if you think about it, it sounds very time consuming and tedious, right? And yes, it is, but once everything is set up, it will actually make your life a lot easier. But like I said, don't worry, we're going to show you how to speed things up with a few dollars. So with that said, let's move on to video number 4. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 4. And we're going to talk about the ring, which is the strategy. So in the previous video, we discussed why having different social media properties interlinked together can help Google see you as a brand who is sharing your content to your audience. In other words, these aren't just random backlinks, but links from big sites that are branded towards your company. And this is why this is super targeted and is much more powerful than a simple backlink. Make sense? So now let's take a look at what this looks like in real life. So let's head on over to our nifty mind mapping software. I'm going to map things out so that you're going to be able to visually see how it all works. Okay, so to better understand how this works, we're going to map things out. Now, before we map things out, I want to start with some basics, and let's just pull this out here. So essentially the concept here is as you're building your brand, you're going to have many different social properties. And let's say, for example, this is the Facebook fan page. So that's your fan page. And We've got the YouTube channel over here because that is our end goal, is to have our YouTube channel get ranked higher. So essentially what we're doing is we're getting a backlink from this to here. And this could be Facebook, it could be Twitter, it could be Instagram, it could be any other social media platform. But it has to be branded towards you. It can't just be somebody else's fan page unless it is actually related. But if it's related and if it's branded as yours and it's linking to your YouTube channel, that essentially is a vote of confidence, but also it shows YouTube that you're interlinking. So that's basically the concept here. Now, if we dig a little deeper, basically what we want to set up is every time we upload a YouTube video and it gets posted, maybe it gets posted publicly, what ends up happening is we push that YouTube video and get it embedded onto the Facebook fan page, the Twitter page, the WordPress page, and all of that. So we'll put Twitter. And we'll do WordPress. So as you can imagine, you've got the centerpiece here. You've got different social media platforms that are posted. Now, there isn't necessarily a set rule where you have to post it to X amount of social media properties. It can be 5, it can be 10, it could be 20, it could be different social media platforms. But in order to execute this and get it correctly, you will need to make sure that the platform that we use to automate this process actually supports that specific social media platform. So essentially this is what works, and this is basically what it is. So obviously in order to get this to work, you'll need to have a YouTube channel, you'll need to have the Facebook fan page, you'll need to have all these items in hand. So you'll need to have the username and password and all that. And we'll talk more about account creation later, but I just wanted to give you kind of a gist of what everything looks like and the visual map of it all. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 5. We're going to talk about how to automate the ring. Now that you understand how everything is interlinked, how everything is connected, and how you can kind of be creative and make your own ring. So after viewing the previous video, you can imagine how tedious and overwhelming it is to have to maintain the ring, much less get it set up yourself. But lucky for you, there is a way to automate it once you have set things up. It's getting things set up is the tedious process. Now, there's a software platform called IFTTT, and there's another one called Zapier.com that allows you to automate the process of moving content all around your social properties. So you could take a YouTube video and have it pushed to your WordPress site. And by pushed, I mean have it embedded on your WordPress site and then have it shared on your Facebook fan page, your Twitter page, your Instagram, and all of that. So you have essentially what we call triggers, that whenever the trigger happens, then something else happens. So what IFTTT stands for is if, then, this, that. So if this happens, then what kind of deal. Now, between the two, Zapier will cost you a lot of money after a while. A lot of times they'll give you some free triggers and zaps, which is what they call it. And beyond that, it will cost money. Whereas with IFTTT, it's just as good, but it's free. So let's hop on over and show you how IFTTT works. Okay, so if you head on over to ifttt.com, that's ifttt, 3ts.com, you'll see this page. You can go ahead and create an account, and you'll find a lot of really cool, interesting triggers, is what we call it, in ifttt. So what a trigger is let's say you upload a YouTube video, and then the system detects that the video has been uploaded. What do you want to happen after that happens? So if YouTube video has been uploaded, then post it to WordPress. Then after that, take the post on WordPress, maybe post it elsewhere, or post the YouTube video to Twitter, and so forth and so forth. So as you can imagine, this does get tedious, but if you map things out, if you know ahead of time what it's going to look like, then you can simply look at it and say, okay, I'm pointing YouTube to Twitter. So anytime video has been uploaded to YouTube, then it simply gets pushed or embedded into Twitter. So we need to make a IFTTT trigger for that. So to do that, it's very easy. All you have to do is go to My Applets up here, and you can do a search for applets. Now services over here, I'm not going to click that, but this tab here allows you to essentially connect to all of the services that you're going to be using. So for example, as you can see here, I've got Tumblr to Weebly, RSS to Google Drive, a YouTube like to OneNote, YouTube like to Facebook page. And the reason why you might want to have YouTube likes is, let's say for example that you already have maybe 50 videos on your YouTube channel, but you want to find a way to get those videos embedded. So what we figured out is that YouTube likes is the way to go. So obviously you can't re-upload a video that hasn't already been uploaded and is already getting thousands of views. The way you go about it is create a YouTube like trigger so that you can simply like it, and then it gets posted to throughout your network. Now, as you can see here, you can easily get lost in the mix of everything. So that's why I said visually map everything out first, and then from that point, then you can simply go in and set things up. So like Blogger to Weebly, YouTube to Facebook, YouTube to Blogger, YouTube to Instapaper, YouTube to DIIGO, YouTube to Google Plus page via Buffer, and all that. And we got YouTube to Tumblr, YouTube to Twitter. So it can go on and on and on if you really wanted to, or you can simply pick and choose what you want and what you don't want and go from there. Now, in order to turn them on, you can simply click here to turn them on. But for the sake of just showing you, this is what it looks like. So as you can see, the Tumblr to Weebly is activated. So when it is activated, it'll have the on button and the green light. Hello and welcome to video number 6, and we're going to talk about account creation. Okay, so obviously in order to set up the IFTTT ring, you need to have accounts for all of your branded social properties. So in other words, you need to have the username and password for Facebook, for Twitter, for all the other social media properties. Now, obviously, if you already have some, then great. You don't have to create those. But for the ones that you do not have, you want to be able to create those. Now, while that does sound very simple, there's a few things that you really need to focus on. So to make sure that you're successfully able to do this without risking your accounts being closed, and that does happen, we're going to cover a few things that you must do with all of your accounts. In fact, some of our accounts have been banned or closed by mistake because it has to be done a certain way. So you need to make sure that you have everything correct. Now, first, you need to have an email address, preferably a Gmail account or an email account that is reliable. And you need to have one email address for that. Typically, you want to have something that is branded as well, because you never know with these social media platforms if they're analyzing every step of the process. Now, most social media accounts we have found require you to have a unique telephone number. So you will need to use either yours or you'll need to get one. If you don't have one and you don't want to use your personal telephone, there are several places to get unique telephone numbers that can be used for both voice and SMS. And the reason why you want to have it for SMS as well is because some of these social media platforms will send you a text message. Now, one in particular that we use is called line2.com. That's line2.com. And of course, there are many out there, but this is just one that we have tested and it works really well. So a lot of times when you create a brand new social media property, an account, you need to have a unique telephone number. Now, the reason for needing a unique telephone number is because most social media platforms, they really want to make sure that you are legitimate, especially nowadays. They have a lot of checks and balances and things that you need to get around to make sure that your account stays open. In fact, recently Facebook has been on a major crackdown, especially with everything that's been going on in the news. They want to make sure that you are legit and that you are not fake. Another thing is you'll also need to have a short bio, a description about your business, your website URL, a picture that is yours, and a professional, or if you don't have your picture, you can use a professionally royalty-free stock photo. Now, why do you need all this information? Well, the reason why you need all this information is because when it comes to account creation, you are going to need to have every piece of these items in hand to copy and paste over. Obviously, if you outsource this process, it's going to be a lot easier. And with that case, you're definitely going to need these items. And it's just going to make your life a lot easier when you're able to copy and paste and all of that. Your picture is actually very important because even Facebook will review photos on all accounts to make sure that fake accounts are not created. In fact, we created an account one time and it was using kind of a fake image. And even though it was royalty free and all of that, Facebook declined it and in fact did not approve the account. So they really want to make sure that your account is legitimate. Now, it's best if you take all this information and you write it out in an Excel spreadsheet so that you have it in hand, you have the username and passwords of all the social media properties, and you can simply log in and begin to create the accounts. So those are kind of the best practices that we have found over the years in terms of creating accounts. And while some of those seem very basic, the one that really stood out that was really important was making sure that you had that unique telephone number. Okay, so hello and welcome to video number 7. We're going to talk about outsourcing. So as you can imagine, creating a ring is very time consuming, especially depending on how big the ring is and how many rings there are and all of that. So it can go anywhere from a few hours to a few days to even a few weeks. And that's the reality of it, is it takes hard work, but once it is set up and running, then you will begin to get better search engine ranking and you'll be able to get more exposure. So like I said, it can take a week or two for someone who's never done this before. In fact, if you outsource it, it's most likely going to take about a week for somebody who knows how to get things done, because account creation takes a lot of time, and then connecting everything from the triggers to the if-else statements and all of that. So what we found over the years is outsourcing is worth it. It's only about $50 to $100 if your 2 weeks are worth more. Obviously, if you're struggling with money and time is of essence and you have a lot of time, then you can set these up yourself. But for the most part, we found that you really need to focus on your business and on whatever you're promoting. So go ahead and outsource this and it'll be worth your while. So let's discuss where you should go to find someone, and lucky for you, we've actually used several of these places. So we will show you particular vendors and freelancers that we have used so that you can simply just copy and paste. So what you want to do is you want to go to a specific website called legit.com with two I's. So LEGIIT.com. And when you get to this page, you want to type in IFTTT up at the top in the search bar, click enter, and then you're going to see a bunch of freelancers that can provide this service. So as you can see here, it says I will create an IFTTT network, and as you can see, there are like 4 different rings. So typically one ring will cost you about $50. So this guy here, his name is Gemini Guy. We've actually used him before and gotten fairly good results. And what he'll do is all you have to do is give him the information for, like I said, the accounts, and have the username and password. And what we usually do is we create a brand new email account. So it's nothing related to the old business accounts or anything like that. So it's a new email account, all the information on a spreadsheet, and then we send it over to him. He creates the accounts, and then he logs into your IFTTT account, which you'll need an account for that as well, and then he'll set everything up. There's a lot of people that are doing this type of stuff. Some are doing like video embeds, and that's another thing with YouTube. One ranking factor is the more embeds, the better. But the more embeds that are done on a branded social property or a property that is actually related to your theme, that is actually better. The reason why is an embed is kind of considered a backlink to YouTube. So if we were to create a IFTTT network that is specifically creating as many embeds in different social media properties, that can help as well. So we can have a ring or several rings, and on top of that, we can have video embeds. Now, the nice thing about legit.com is it's really focused on a lot of online marketing, SEO, and other different services like backlinks, PBN links, and all of that. But what we found is you don't want to get too fancy. You want to start out slow and work your way up. Because if you start just throwing a bunch of backlinks or even video embeds right away, it doesn't look natural, right? If you release a piece of content, sometimes it can take a week or weeks until you start getting hundreds or even thousands of likes or engagement. So you don't want to throw thousands or even hundreds of thousands of backlinks right away, right? So that's not going to look natural. And going back to what we talked about earlier in the previous videos, does it look natural? If it doesn't look natural or doesn't seem natural, then that can be a problem. So legit.com is an awesome site to go to. And this guy right here, Gemini Guy, like I said, is someone that we've used. Now, obviously you can go to these other people and look at the reviews and see if they have good reviews and see what other people are saying. Hello and welcome to video number 8. This is all about testing and making sure that you understand how to test it to make sure that it works. Because I will say once these are set up, a lot of times, sometimes they work. A lot of times, sometimes one of the items throughout the line does not work. So I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot it. So whether you created the ring yourself or you hired somebody to do it, testing is very, very important. In fact, we outsource most of our rings, but yet we still have to go back and test it out. A lot of times when these freelancers are in the mode, they'll test it out, but they're really relying on you to test it out because they can't upload a YouTube video to your YouTube channel unless they have access. And a lot of times we don't give them access for, privacy and security reasons. So let's go ahead and discuss how to do that. So let's hop on back over to IFTTT and I'll show you how you need to test things out. Okay, so we're back at IFTTT, and what I recommend that you do is you open up the Excel spreadsheet that the freelancer gives you or that you've created yourself. And on that Excel spreadsheet, it should have your username and password and all the links to all of the accounts that were created. So in that case, how do we test it out? Well, obviously we're going to need to upload a video to YouTube. Now, I'm not going to do that now, but if you upload that, everything should work throughout the network. So the way you can test things out is simply by going to the websites that are in the Excel spreadsheet. So once you go there, if it has been posted, it works. If it's not working. If it's not working, then you'll need to kind of troubleshoot it. Either get the guy who created the ring to help you out, or if you did it yourself, this is basically what you need to do. So you need to check through and figure out what's not working. So if we found that the YouTube video is not being posted to blogger.com, we need to figure out why. So we need to go to the applet. So this in case is the YouTube like to Blogger. So it's a little bit different than the upload to YouTube channel. But if we click on that, you can see here that we have the applet that goes from YouTube like to Blogger. So if we click on this here, you can actually get a better view of what's happening. So basically anytime a YouTube video is liked, we create a post on Blogger, we put the title, we put all this. Now we need to figure out why. Usually a lot of times the reason why it's not posting is because it's not connected to the account. So you want to make sure that it's actually connected. If it is connected, then sometimes you'll need to look at, for example, this. Is it posting the title and maybe not the video? Or is it not posting everything? If it's not posting everything, it usually means it's a connection issue. If it is posting like the title, but not the body or the YouTube, then maybe it's the embed code is incorrect. So you can check that. So really what it comes down to is just trial and error. But if you really outsource this, it's really going to be a lot easier. But that's what we found to be the case, and most of the time is that the services are not being connected. And I will say IFTTT, sometimes it's can be hit or miss. And sometimes in that case, the services may or may not be working. And that's really reliant sometimes on the YouTube channel, the social media platform, and all of that. So hopefully those tips can help you along the way when it comes to testing. Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course on how to optimize your videos before making your YouTube videos live. So this is video number 1, which is the introduction to YouTube search engine optimization. So I want to first start out by saying the goal is to focus on doing the right amount of keyword research and video file automation before actually uploading any of it to YouTube. So essentially this is all about what most people forget about doing before making their YouTube video live. Because if you think about it, most people think about, okay, what do I do after I upload this video? They don't really think about what they have to do before making it live. So this is not about what you can do afterwards, as that is a totally different focus, but rather before. So besides simple optimization, you really need to know that YouTube ranks the videos that people watch the longest. Meaning, let's say for example that we have a 10-minute video. YouTube looks at that video. They look, yes, at the likes, dislikes, and comments, but they also look at, okay, do people actually watch most of this video? And based on, let's say, 1,000 views, how many of those 1,000 views actually watched either 50% or 100%, or how many minutes total? 1,000 times how many minutes was watched. So they really look at how long people watch the videos as a whole. Meaning the more viewers and the longer that they watch, that will get you ranked up further and further up. So instead of focusing on, spammy tactics, tons of backlinks, and all of that, our goal here is to really focus on the user experience. So what I want to do now is give you a quick overview of what's inside this video course. This is, of course, video number 1. Video number 2 is going to be about competitive research, or in other words, researching your competitors to kind of get a better idea of why YouTube is ranking those videos. Video number 3, we'll talk about highly searched keyword terms and how you can find those for your product or service or whatever you're trying to promote. Video number 4, we'll talk about your title and your description. Video number 5, we'll talk about video file optimization. So we're going to optimize the actual file because each file has essentially information in it. And of course, video number 6 will talk about why your thumbnail is important and how to make it professional and good looking. And video number 7 will talk about video length and why that matters. We talked briefly about it just now, but I'm going to dive in deeper in that video. And of course, last but not least, I'm going to give you a secret tip on how to outrank your competitors in video number 8. So before we get started, I want to talk about what you need to have in hand. You're definitely going to need your product or service and an idea of the niche that you're targeting. You also need to have a video that is ready to be uploaded. And with that said, let's move on to video number 2. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2. So let's talk about competitive research. You see, the best way to understand how you can rank better is to know what is already ranking in your niche or your market. So what we want to do here is we want to analyze the videos that are on the top. And I want you to specifically look at what titles, what descriptions are they using, and what thumbnails are they using that are eye-catching. And what is the user experience like when you click through those videos? So let's go ahead and do some competitive research. So for the sake of making sure that we find YouTube videos that actually relate to promoting a product, what I want to do now is just to pick a product out of the blue and let's take a look at YouTube. So one product that I've been using for a while now, which has been really, really awesome, is called the Instant Pot. It's basically a pressure cooker that cooks food at a really fast rate. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop on over to youtube.com and we're going to type in Instant Pot and see what we get. So I'm not going to click enter just yet because I'm interested in getting an idea of what kind of potential keywords that we could rank on or what potential videos that we can create. And we'll talk more about this in the next video. But for now, let's just do some basic keyword brainstorming and then, of course, do some competitive research. So Instant Pot, we got Instant Pot recipes, we got Instant Pot ribs, Instant Pot roast. So let's just click here and see what we get. Now we can see how to use Instant Pot has 316,000 views right here. Instant Pot chicken, top 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot. Perfect for beginners. All right. So let's just take a look at the top 3. So let's go ahead and open those up. And let's analyze them. So the first one is this one here. And let's pause the video. We'll skip the ad. All right. Okay, so how to use the Instant Pot 101 for beginners. So if we think about the type of audience that the Instant Pot attracts. It attracts somebody who has a busy life, who may be a beginner at cooking and just wants a quick and easy meal done fast. So we can see that. So one thing that I like to do is I like to copy the titles to Notepad. Just kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with. So that's the title. Looks like she's promoting an Amazon affiliate link. We can see that here, Amazon.to. We've got Instant Pot hacks, Instant Pot yogurt, and all that. So what she's doing, it's very funny, but she may not realize she's doing this, but what she's using is a method called siloing. And she's basically telling YouTube, hey, not only do I have this video on Instant Pot, I've got Instant Pot hacks, yogurt, recipes, and other recipes. So let's just copy that in here. So that's video number 1. So we're going to rank it from video 1, video 2, and video 3. Let's scroll down a bit. We've got 373 comments. I will say when it comes to YouTube, they're looking for engagement. So comments is good, likes are good, even dislikes are good as well. Even though dislikes are bad from a human standpoint, it tells YouTube that there is engagement, all right? So sometimes we're going to be able to view, we can't do it here, but sometimes you'll actually be able to view more data. But for now, you can't hear. Now, we can actually dig deeper if we want to. So let's just take a look at Natural Brittany's YouTube channel. Because when you're doing competitive research on YouTube, it's not just that particular video. It's actually the whole YouTube channel as a whole, the authority that that channel holds. So she has 116,000 subscribers. Click on the videos. She has a good amount of videos that talk about anything, looks like from cooking, from budgeting, from grocery, a lot of very similar videos. So let's scroll down. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the second highest ranking video. So if we go back over to here, and this is the Instant Pot Chicken Cook with Me, meal planning, meal prepping, Sunday setup. So let's go here, take a look. Okay, let's see here. So it's a 20-minute video, all right? And it has 658 likes, 5,000 views. If we take a look at this video here, this has 320,000 views and 7,000 likes. Now, notice how it says 13 minutes here, and notice how it says 20 minutes here. We'll go back to this later on. All right, so we'll talk more about why a certain amount of time of your video is important, why the timing is important. And why is it that this lady has only 5,000 views, whereas the other lady has 300,000, and this lady is ranked right below that lady? All right. So why is that important? And why does that correlate to the time? So we'll talk more about that later on. But for now, let's just do competitive research. We're not trying to figure things out right now and go from there. So if we take a look at the description, it says cook with me as I try a new recipe with Instant Pot. So the description contains the keyword. Sunday setup. Looks like she's got some Amazon links. And if we think about Instant Pot, who could it be targeting? All right, so this lady calls out people who are trying to prep on Sunday. So if we can get an idea of who it's targeting mothers, it's targeting people who are busy, who maybe only have time on Sundays to set things up. And chicken is a common thing, so maybe she's getting a lot of clicks. We don't know exactly, but we know that the headline and the description work together and getting clicks. All right, back over here. This is the third one. So let's take a look at this one. So this one is 8 minutes but it has a lot more views than those other 2 videos. But it's shorter. It's shorter, but it has longer amount of views and it's third. It's got 11,000 likes and 633 dislikes. If we scroll down, we can see that it has more comments than the first one. So why is it that the first one is number 1 and this one is the third one and it has more views and more comments? Well, we don't know exactly why, but I have a hunch as to why that is, which we'll talk more about ranking and what Google and YouTube is looking for later down the road. So that's that. Let's just copy that title. And I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and we'll copy and paste that information to the notepad. Okay, so I went ahead and copy and paste the information. So this is video 1, this is video 2, and this is video 3 down below. So let me make this bigger so we have this information. So as we're kind of analyzing the competitor, we want to save this for later, but can you kind of see a similarity here? So this is calling out the target audience. This is calling out the people who are busy essentially. And top 6 ways, top X ways, top certain number ways is always a good title. So perfect for beginners. So if you can imagine, we already see that this title has beginners. This one's calling out perfect for beginners. And this one essentially is calling out people who are busy. So it's a target audience. So that's key. So having this in hand gives you a better idea on what potential titles and descriptions that you can have. Now you can do some deeper dive competitive research using specific tools. And one specific tool is called Social Blade. So that's socialblade.com, as you can see here. And I like to use this to kind of get a better idea of the YouTube channel as a whole. Because what you're trying to figure out is, did this person rank because their channel as a whole has a lot of traffic? Or did this person rank simply because of the titles and the description? So there's many factors that come involved, but let's take a look at Naturally Brittany. So let's go ahead and copy this. And you basically want to come here and type in the username of the YouTube channel. So we'll go ahead and click this here. Okay, so we can see here that this is Naturally Brittany, 116,000 subscribers. She's got 19 million video views. So that kind of gives us an idea of how easy it is to break through. Is it easy? Is it going to take a little bit work or what? So let's just go ahead and open her up and let's do the same thing with the other videos. So this one is marriage and motherhood. We got that here. So she has 7 million video views. So it's about half of what we saw earlier. And this one is called Six Sisters Stuff. And this one has about 9 million video views. So right off the bat, we can see that if we were to rank on the keyword Instant Pot, it's going to take a lot to break through. But the way we can break through is by using essentially subcategories of that keyword. So Instant Pot recipes or Instant Pot chicken recipe, stuff like that. So we can see that each one of these has about 100 to 200,000 subscribers. So you're going to have to be competing against that. Now, obviously, if you have a good size YouTube channel, that will usually mean that you can break through fairly easily. But if you're just starting out, then breaking through on that keyword is going to be a little bit more difficult. So the next question is, what keywords should you use? And we'll discuss that in the next video. Hello and welcome to video number 3. Let's talk about highly searched keyword terms and how you can figure out what your main keyword is going to be, what your sub keywords are going to be. So one mistake that we see that many YouTubers make is simply making their own title and description. I mean, it's natural, right? But instead of deciding what you think will work, why not use what is already working and do some simple keyword research that's not going to take a lot of time, and this way you'll be able to have the right information that will help you rank on the right keywords. Now the big question is, well, how do I find these keywords? So the best way to find highly searched keyword terms is to look at the Google suggested keywords. And they are suggested for one reason, because they are used a lot. So let me show you how to find them and what they look like. Okay, so from analyzing the previous videos with the top 3 videos to kind of get an idea of what the titles were, what the descriptions were, if we look at the 3 and we refer back to this, the question is, what are the commonalities between the titles? Obviously the keyword Instant Pot, but we also notice that the top one and the third one, they all have the keyword beginners. So beginners in Instant Pot for beginners, all right? So if we go back up here and we go to youtube.com and we type in Instant Pot, what do we get? So when you have a drop down like this is what we call the suggested keywords. And you'll see this in Amazon.com, you'll see this in Google.com and other major search engines. And what this is high demand and highly searched keyword terms. So in other words, if a lot of people are searching for these keywords, then they'll show up in the drop down menu. Right? So Instant Pot chicken happens to be a very highly searched term. And take a look at this. This one is related to Instant Pot chicken. So that means there's a lot of people searching for Instant Pot chicken. And that might be why this second video is ranked so high. Let's scroll down and take a look. So as we're scrolling down, I also want you to kind of keep an eye on the thumbnails, because the thumbnails are key. So we got top 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot. And I'll say, as an Instant Pot user, I really didn't know what recipes were out there that would fit the Instant Pot. Because the Instant Pot, the way it cooks is it pressurizes the food, and you need a little bit of liquid inside it to pressurize. So what I was doing is I was looking for recipes that were specifically made for the Instant Pot. So a lot of these people that are coming here, they don't know. They're just looking for recipes. So the 30 Instant Pot recipes gives people an idea. Oh, okay, I've got 30 recipes that I can pick and choose from. So if you scroll down, it says Instant Pot Ultra. All right. So if we go back here, so Instant Pot chicken is definitely a top one. Instant Pot spaghetti, how to use an Instant Pot. Instant Pot cheesecake, yogurt, pho, beef stew, whole chicken, rice, and Instant Pot pot roast. So these are highly searched keywords. Now let's hop over to Google and see what we get. Do we get the same thing? Do we get something different? So if you go to Google and you type in the same thing, Instant Pot, we can see that we've got Instant Pot recipes, Instant Pot chicken. So notice that the chicken and the roast beef, or the pot roast, seem to appear both in Google and in YouTube. So whenever you see that, that's a good sign, because you got to understand, people searching in YouTube are very different than people searching in Google. They don't show the exact same thing. But if they do, that gives you an idea that if you rank on that term, that you will be able to get traffic from Google and YouTube. Okay, so let's go back here. So Instant Pot chicken. So let's just do a search and see what we get. So another place to find the Google suggested keyword terms is to scroll all the way down to the bottom. So there we go. So Instant Pot recipe. Now these are specifics, all right? These are searches related to Instant Pot. So people are looking to buy Instant Pot Amazon. So let's just type in Instant Pot chicken and see what else we get. So if you notice when we type Instant Pot chicken, it gives you a more detailed view of the other keywords that are related. So for example, Instant Pot chicken recipes, chicken and rice, chicken noodle soup, chicken thighs, chicken bog, chicken breast recipes, chicken wings, and chicken and dumplings. So let's go over here and see what we get. So Instant Pot chicken recipe, wings, noodle, biryani, thighs. So a lot of these are actually appearing that are the same. Okay, so moving on here, we've got Instant Pot chicken. Now let's take a look at what we have here. So what I would do is I would do the same thing, the competitive research. Now, if you notice here, the Six Sisters stuff, it's a different video, but it's a similar video. Now this video is different. This lady is the same. And that's another thing. So if you rank high on the main keyword, then you could potentially rank on the other smaller keywords as well. So that gives you an idea of what content to create and what keywords to target. So we could potentially make it about Instant Pot chicken. And what I would do is go back here. Let's say we want to title it the Instant Pot chicken. What I would do is I would scroll here and take a look at questions people are asking. So how do I cook chicken and potatoes in Instant Pot? How long does it take to cook chicken pot, Instant Pot? We scroll down, and what I would do is grab these keywords. So I would grab these keywords. So what we want to do is we want to have a main keyword, and then we want to have sub keywords. So the main keyword here would be Instant Pot chicken. And then the other ones would be Instant Pot chicken and potatoes and all the rest here. So having these in hand will give you a better idea on how to go about creating your titles and your descriptions so that you can target specific keywords and that you're not like any other YouTuber who is simply making up titles and descriptions just out of your head. So this way you can be strategic and rank effectively. Hello and welcome to video number 4. In this video, we're going to talk about your title and your description. So let's take what you have gathered in the previous video and let me show you how to properly create your titles and descriptions. So when it comes to creating titles and descriptions, we simply need to do what we did in the previous videos, which was the competitive research. And as you can see here, we have the videos 1, 2, and 3, the top number 1, number 2, and number 3. And of course, we have the main keywords. So we have this main keyword here. So that's definitely going to be in the title. And then of course, if you noticed, the target audience was beginners. So essentially what you're noticing here is that people are calling out the audience, and then of course they have the keyword in the title itself. And then of course you want to make sure that title, main keyword, and target audience is also going to be in your description. Now what I like to do is I like to go look at magazines in that niche. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly, in this case, Instant Pot, but it needs to be somewhat of that genre. Now, one thing that I noticed was when we took a look at the Instant Pot chicken, you could write out something like top 6 easiest things. So instead of things, you could say chicken recipes or pot roast recipes to cook in your Instant Pot. Or you could say something like Instant Pot chicken dash top 6 easy recipes, or you could use a number. People like numbers, especially knowing that somebody gets an Instant Pot for the sake of saving time. You could say top 6 easy chicken recipes that take less than 30 minutes. Now, obviously, that's a little bit long, so let's head on over to Google here. So like I said, I like to use magazines. Magazines do a great job in creating titles. So as you can see here, I typed in Instant Pot magazine, and to the right, you'll notice that there's Instant Pot all-time recipes. So let's just go ahead and open that in a brand new window, like so. So it looks like we have to pay, but let's just go ahead and click the free sample. So we can see Instant Pot's all-time best recipes. So you could do something like all-time best chicken recipes, or Instant Pot dash all-time best chicken recipes, or all-time best chicken Instant Pot recipes. So obviously here we're not going to copy word for word because that's plagiarism, but we're going to use something different. We're going to tweak it around. What we're looking here is for headlines. So let's go back here. So it says everyday Instant Pot, 115 delicious, family friendly pressure cooker. So we can say everyday Instant Pot, 6 delicious family pressure cook recipes. So everyday Instant Pot chicken, as long as the word Instant Pot chicken is in there. So we've got 66 Instant Pot recipes that put your pressure cooker to work. So we could say something like 6 Instant Pot chicken recipes that take less than 15 minutes. And yes, believe it or not, Instant Pot can literally cook something like a pot roast within less than an hour, or sometimes half an hour. Because it's a pressure cooker, it cooks a lot faster. So that's what I like to do, is I like to take a look at magazines. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Instant Pot in this example. It can be another food magazine. So essentially that's how to create the titles. As far as the description goes, if you take a look at what they've written here, the first one that's ranking really well, as you can see here, we've got Instant Pot 101 for beginners. So you'll notice that they are trying to target the keyword Instant Pot 101 for beginners. So they've stated that in the title, and they've also put it in the description. So it says everything you need to know about how to use the Instant Pot in a beginner Instant Pot recipe. So notice that they use the keyword beginner Instant Pot twice. And then of course they got Instant Pot hacks, Instant Pot yogurt. And what they're essentially doing here is they're linking to other related videos. Now, Google's smart enough and YouTube's smart enough to have an algorithm to read the description and think, okay, they've got other videos that they've created that are related to Instant Pot. This video must be good, or this channel must have a lot of relevant information. So we're going to rank it a little bit higher because it's going to give people what they want to see. So now we look down here, it says Instant Pot chicken. So this is the lady who is ranking really high on Instant Pot, but also Instant Pot chicken. So it says cook with me as I try a new recipe with my Instant Pot. So we can see the keyword Instant Pot here. And as you can see, the description is really written for the user, but it contains the keywords that are necessary. So you don't need to write something like Instant Pot chicken or something that's just a bunch of garbled information. You want to make sure that the title and the description attract people first and foremost, and then embed the keywords within. So the third one, we've got top 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot. Perfect for beginners. So it says, today I'm sharing with you the 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot. So you can see here, the title is here, but the title is also in the description. It says, now these are perfect if you are just starting out or even had the Instant Pot for a while. So you can see the keywords that are embedded, but it's really written for the user. And that's the way it should be, because the title and the description will actually show up in the YouTube search engine, as you can see here. So we've got the title, we've got the description. So we want to make sure that the first sentence in your description is catchy as well. Hello and welcome to video number 5. Let's talk about video file optimization. Did you know that all files contain data that tells YouTube what your video could be about? Let me show you. Okay, so the way that YouTube gets an idea of what your video is about is by transcribing it. And for the most part, it can usually figure out what your video is all about if you have voice and speaking in it. Now, you can go one step further by adding what we call video file metadata. It's very similar to a website metadata. So for example, if you right click on any website and you click on View Page Source, up at the top, you're going to see a lot of what we call metadata. So right here, we can see the name, the title, the description, and all that information. So what that does is it tells Google essentially what your website is all about. So very, very similar in this case of what we're doing here. So what we're doing here is we are taking the video file that you have created and embedding it with more information. So besides the title and description, YouTube will be able to read the metadata inside of your video. So it'll make a little bit more sense when I show it to you. Now, it's really hard to find software out there that allows you to embed metadata, except for a few. So one of them is called Video Converter by Wondershare, and that is videoconverter.wondershare.com. That's videoconverter.wondershare.com. So if you go here and you go ahead and download up at the top, you will be able to embed metadata. In fact, we're going to be using that for this particular video. Now, there are other software out there like the Adobe Bridge software, which allows you to embed the metadata into your video. Now, the reason why I'm using Wondershare is because I feel like it's a lot easier to use. So if you go ahead and download this, we're going to open this here. And what I did was I clicked Add Files and I chose the file. Now, there's a lot of things that you can change about the video, but what we're particularly interested in is this eye icon right here. So click this eye icon or letter I here, and you're going to see that it says name, language, episode name, actors, director, screenwriter, tagline, and description and comments. So what I recommend is you try to complete this as much as you can. So episode name, actors, so that would be whoever is in the video, the director, the screenwriter, which could be you, and then the tagline. What I would do is the tagline be your title, and then the description be your description. So whatever you're going to upload to YouTube, put this as a title and put this as a description. And then for comments, I would put something like keywords. And all you have to do is click save, convert it, and done. That's the reason why we're using Video Converter, because it's just so much easier. With Adobe Bridge, it's easy too, but there's a lot of more options and very easy to get confused. So once you're done with that, you save the video. Your video has the metadata inside of it, and all you have to do is simply upload it to YouTube, and that's it. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 6. Let's talk about your thumbnail and why that is important. You see, since our goal is to get more clicks or more views to your YouTube video, we have to rely on attracting viewers. So if you think about it, the thumbnail is the first thing people see as they are scanning to find what interests them the most. So in other words, if you think about it, if you go to youtube.com and you type in a keyword, you're going to see all the results with thumbnails, the titles, the descriptions, and all of that. So that's the first thing that they see. So let's discuss what your thumbnail should contain and what's working in your market and how to figure that out. So when it comes to having a thumbnail, you want to make sure that it is eye-catching, meaning it shows somebody what they want. So if Instant Pot Chicken is your main keyword, you want to make sure that your thumbnail has something in it that entices them. So it's good to have the keyword or the title in it. So you can see right now the way YouTube works is they have an initial title or an initial thumbnail, and then after that you can see motion. So if I put my mouse over it, you can actually see part of the video, which makes it a lot more engaging. So as we scroll down, the initial thumbnail that this woman uses is the Instant Pot. And then this one here, it says Instant Pot recipes. So Instant Pot. So we can see the ones at the top definitely have the Instant Pot in it, or a word that's chicken, or a picture that has chicken in it. So it fits the keyword. Now, if you're not a professional, thumbnail artist or anything like that, there are different sites that you can use to get these created. Now, bear in mind that you never want to use a thumbnail that is clickbaity or that lies to somebody, because if they click on it and then the video is nothing like the thumbnail, then guess what? You might get tons and tons of clicks and perhaps views, but you're not going to get people watching your video, which is very, very important, which we'll discuss in the future videos. But for now, there are different elements that you need. So what I recommend is you go to a site called creativemarket.com. That's creativemarket.com. There are other sites like graphicriver.net, but over time we've realized Creative Market has a lot of really good designs. So what we can do here is in the search box, we're going to type in YouTube thumbnail. And we're looking specifically for templates that we can use for the thumbnail. So it says YouTube thumbnail pack. Let's go ahead and open that. There's one here. There are end cards, but that's a little bit different. That basically comes at the very end of your video. So we got urban thumbnails, different types of thumbnails. But the reason why I like Creative Market is buying templates for specifically YouTube thumbnails is going to make your life a lot more easier, especially if you can make it professional. The more professional it looks, the more professional your viewers will click through. So if we click on this, we can kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with. And here's more thumbnails here as well. Now, over time, we've realized with YouTube thumbnails, more and more designs are becoming minimalistic, meaning it's not too fancy, but it's got just enough information to tell the person what it is all about. So it could have text, it could have pictures, but you really need to know what your YouTube video is about before you can create your thumbnail. In fact, I recommend that you create your YouTube video first and then you create your thumbnail so that you can make sure that you attract the right person. Now, what we found a little bit of a technique is to create a thumbnail that is related to essentially the end, meaning if you're creating an Instant Pot chicken recipe, you might want to show the chicken already cooked. So essentially what people get if they click through. So that way people think, oh, okay, this looks really nice. I'm going to click through. And they're more likely to actually watch all the way through to the end. And that's what we want. We want people not to just click through, but to watch all the way till the end. And that's actually going to help us with the ranking. Hello and welcome to video number 7. Let's talk about video length in more depth. So the big question is, how long should your video be? While yes, most folks have said that your video should be short due to attention span, and that's something that we've talked about in the past, and that definitely worked in the past, and that still is true that people's attention span are short. But today, in terms of YouTube, your video length should be longer, and here's why. Did you know that YouTube ranks your video based on how many minutes your viewer watches? We talked briefly about this in video number 1, but I want to talk about why that is the case. Statistically speaking, most people that we have found, based on statistics that we have seen in YouTube, most people watch about 50% of a video. Even the people that are interested in a video, they watch 50% of a video. So if that, in this case, is a 5-minute video, an average viewer is only going to watch about 2.5 minutes. Now, here's why that is important. If you're competing against someone who has a 30-minute video and their viewers watch 15 minutes, which is about 50%, well, guess what? Even if they can have less viewers than you, they're going to beat you because they have a longer video. So if you got the 2.5, they've got the 15 minutes, they can send less people and still beat you. And YouTube will favor them in the end. Now that, of course, is assuming that the views are legitimate and people are actually watching. And that's why user experience is so important. So to give you some real life practical application, let's hop on over to YouTube and I'm going to show you proof that this works. Okay, so let's take what we learned and what we just discussed and apply it to some real life practical application. So if we head on back over to youtube.com, we type in the keyword Instant Pot recipes, we can see this one, and this one. So let's go ahead and open these up. So we got this one, and this one. So that's 1, 2, and 3. The first one has about roughly 8 minutes or 9 minutes. We'll say 9 minutes. The second one has about 27 minutes. And the third one has about 20 minutes. Okay. So essentially the second and third have about double the amount of time. So like we talked about, most people watch about 50% or less, and then they quit. That's the average, right? So if that's the case, this person here, even though they have more views, see that? 800,000 views, even though they have more views, they're competing with somebody with a 30-minute video. Essentially, it's 27 or 28, but close to 30. So if we round that, we'll just say this is 10, this is 30, and this is 20. All right, so let's keep it at even numbers. So if that's the case, there's 4 minutes here, 15 minutes here, and 10 minutes here. So this means that the person with the less amount of minutes, they're going to need a lot more views and a lot more people watching it. So in total, if this person has, obviously this person's number one, but what I'm saying here is because YouTube looks at how many minutes are watched, if this person had 800,000 views and this person had only half of that amount, but had more than double this amount, this person right here would most likely rank higher. So see that? Only 100,000 views, 15 minutes. This one here, 20 minutes, only 6,000 views. So you might ask, well, shouldn't this be maybe number one? Not necessarily. If we really look at it, so we've got 800 times 4 minutes, and that's not going to be exact. I mean, we could even take 500. And this is definitely going to be number one. And this is definitely going to be number two based on the information. But this person, because they have a long enough video, even though they have less amount of views, they're still able to rank pretty high. So this is based on one of our YouTube channels, which has over 9 million of minutes watched. And based on that, that's what we've seen. Now, there's other factors like likes, dislikes, comments, and other things like that, titles and descriptions. But that's a big, huge ranking factor because it legitimately tells Google and YouTube, hey, this YouTube video is legit. Not only people are clicking on it, they're actually viewing it. And they're viewing at least about 50% on average. So that's why the video length is important. Now, you don't want to make a long video just to make a long video. You want to make a video that has really good content. And that's the goal. It's not based on spammy backlinks or anything like that. It's based on providing real value. Hello and welcome to video number 8. So just want to say congratulations on reaching the end of this video course. We're going to talk about a secret tip that you can use to outrank your competitors. So we briefly talked about why having a longer video was important, right? So one secret tip that we can give you is that what we have found that works is the following. Longer videos in the sense of live streams, which means you get on YouTube and you talk to people live. You have webinar replays and videos where people expect them to be longer. So in other words, people are expecting these to be longer. If you make a normal video that people expect to be 5 minutes and you make it an hour, then you're not really going to hit that 50%. But when you have a live stream or a webinar replay, usually people typically expect it to be at least 1 hour. So because people expect it to be 1 hour or longer, they expect to take time out of their busy schedule to actually watch your longer video. And what we found is these work really well compared to the average video. So let's discuss what you need to do in terms of software or even web applications that you need to create live streams and webinar replays. So in order to create a YouTube live stream, you're going to need to have a broadcasting software. There are many. You can go to YouTube and type in live stream, how to set it up, and there's a lot of videos on that. But this is one particular one that we have used and that has worked really, really well for us. It's called Open Broadcaster Software, and it's free, best of all. And that is located at obsproject.com. So as you can see here, there is versions for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So it's simply as easy as downloading and you can start streaming. So the reason why you need this software is basically what it does is it connects to the YouTube live stream system. And when you're ready, you click record and you're good to go. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on how to use this product just simply because there are so many different options and so many different ways of using it. Now, like I said, the tip is when outranking your competitors to have longer views. This is good for kind of a face-to-face talking head type long video. Now, if you want to use a camera, you can do that. If you want to do something like screen capture, meaning you're going to show your screen, then you're going to want to use something like GoToWebinar. And you can go to gotomeeting.com/webinar to do that. Another tool that we have used, which as of now, it is free, and who knows, it could change. So GoToWebinar does cost money, but it's a nice way to kind of engage with people. So this is the route that I would go if you are engaging with people. If you're not engaging with people and you're simply doing screen capture, there is a tool called Use Loom. Let me show it to you. So useloom.com. Loom is essentially a Chrome plugin, and what it does is it allows you to record your screen. It's super easy to use. In fact, it's super fast. It's so fast that you can literally start recording, and within seconds when you're done, you'll have the video in hand. And you can download the actual video file to your computer really fast. So those are the three options that I would go to, and really depends on the avenue that you want to take. So like I said, create a longer video, but just don't create any content. Make sure that the content is valuable, because you want to make sure that people watch all the way through, or if not, watch at least 50%.